Hey, in this video, I'm going to talk about 12 ways to build your business in 2019, so stick around. Welcome to another episode of Fearless and PowerTube. I'm Sharon Koenig of fearlesspursuits.com, and I create videos all about intentional living, mindset, and online entrepreneurship. So if that sounds like something that you're into, consider subscribing. If you're coming back for another video, thanks so much for coming. I really appreciate you. So let's get started. I wanted to talk about many different ways in which you can build your business in 2019. So I'm assuming you have a business and you are working to build this business to reach the level of growth that you want and to reach your goals. So in this first tip, it's all about knowing your audience's pain. A lot of entrepreneurs who are marketing their businesses online really forget this aspect, and it's really super important. You actually have to know what it is that your audience is struggling with, which leads me to tip number 2. You actually have to offer a solution. And this is where a lot of people get confused. They know that they're marketing their businesses online, which is really great. But the problem with that is they seem to forget that they're supposed to be offering the solution. They're supposed to be talking about the client's pain. A lot of times what we do online is we talk about ourselves and our journey, which can be good in some ways, but we want to remember that it's all about our client's pain. It's all about giving them a solution. Without those two things in place, you're ultimately not really going to make any money. You're just going to be putting out content. So in this third tip, it kind of leads into those first two, and it's about mastering your message. It is critical that you know exactly what your message is and that you have no problem being able to express yourself in whatever marketing that you're doing. So we realize that a lot of people are blogging and they're doing social media content and that sort of thing. And some people even have YouTube channels, which is really great in marketing your business. But if you don't actually know what your marketing message is, you haven't honed in on what it is you're offering, then there's no way that your clients ultimately will know what it is you're doing, what you're offering, and how you can help them, what you're an expert at. And that's the bottom line. We want to make sure that our audience knows what it is that we are an expert in, and that we are the one that people come to when they need a particular solution solved. So we want to make sure that they know what we're doing so we can solve their problems. So in this tip number 4, it's about eliminating busy work. So a lot of entrepreneurs are working from home. And we see that we've got opportunities to do our laundry, to get snacks, and to check our emails, and to play with the kids. We get very busy with a lot of different things, and ultimately it does slow us down in reaching our goals. It doesn't allow us the opportunity to chunk what it is we need to do in order to reach our goals. So we find ourselves lost in checking emails, lost on social media, because we're not actually focusing in on what we need to focus in on, which leads me to tip number 5. We need to be intentional about the work that we're doing. So oftentimes what I like to do is journal. Journaling is a really terrific way for me to empty my mind. But I'm very intentional about the way that I do this. It's really important for me to use the universe as a tool, and I use something called the placemat method. And if you've never heard that before, you can Google it. But in a nutshell, what we want to do is we want to empty our brain onto a piece of paper. And the reason why we're doing this is because we feel very overwhelmed often as entrepreneurs. We're full of ideas, which is really great, and we find ourselves doing lots of different jobs, lots of different tasks, and we're not really able to focus in on the important tasks. And remembering the 80-20 rule. If we're not intentional about what it is we're doing, we don't even really know what's working and what's not working, so that we can actually be intentional about putting more time into the 80% of the work that is actually working. So be more intentional with what it is you have to do. In tip number 6, some people disagree with this, but it is be more passionate. Do more about what it is you are passionate about. And if you're thinking of starting a business, knowing what it is you're passionate about will really help you in the long run when times get tough. Because ultimately, in any business, in any relationship, it's ebbs and flows, and it's always difficult at times. And in those difficult times, this is when your passion is going to drive you towards your goals and help you stretch yourself. And we realize that when we've reached a certain goal, we often get complacent and we get very comfortable in what it is we're doing, and we reach a plateau. And this isn't really a good place for us to be when we want to grow our business. So it's important for us to know what our passions are and to actually be doing our passions and to include our passion in our business, because when times get tough, you're going to be drawing on your passion. In tip number 7, it's all about being more visible. So this is where a lot of people get tripped up, and it's because they're doing the wrong things, the wrong types of activity online. They get stuck in something that makes them feel good, or they get stuck in something that's comfortable. We talked about staying in your comfort zone. This is something a lot of people do, but what we want to do is we want to be very uncomfortable. We want to 10x every bit of our activity. And what that essentially means is that we're applying more effort into the activities that we have to do to market our business. So if you are in business for yourself, let's say that you're a service-based entrepreneur, you're probably marketing your business online. And if so, then you need to become as visible as possible. Coming up with your 12-month marketing plan is really a smart thing to do. In which case, what you want to do is not necessarily focus in on solely doing social media. You actually want to be interviewed on podcasts, do guest posts, get in some magazines, and maybe even start your own podcast or start your own YouTube channel. So these are ways that you can get your message out there to the masses, help more people, and become the expert in your clients' eyes. But understand that there is a price to pay, and that is dealing with your mindset, the mindset of confidence. Being more confident in your marketing efforts is what squashes people. It's what pushes them down so that they're not able to be visible. As you're listening to me, you're thinking about all of the different ways that you could be more visible, maybe getting interviewed on a podcast, for example. And this often scares the pants off of people, and they don't do it. Creating a 12-month marketing plan seems very daunting and overwhelming, so they don't do it. So we need to really build up our confidence. We need to build a strong mind so that we can go after all of that visibility and go after the clients that we need to help. In tip number 8, you need to know your conversions. Why do you need to know your conversions, Sharon? Well, you need to know what's working and what isn't working. So oftentimes we want to build our business, right? That's what this video is all about after all. But how can you build your business if you don't know what's working? We have to know our conversions. We have to know what posts that we're making, whether it be a blog post, whether it be a social media post, which one is actually working, so that we can look and see what it is our clients actually want from us, so we can create more content like that. Oftentimes, you can take a look at who it is that's responding to your posts and reach out to them and do some sort of market research. This is really a terrific way for you to get in front of your ideal clients and ask them what it is that they need to see. Ask them about the type of content that would help them most. In this way, you're able to grow your business, grow your network, and really become more visible in the long run. This next tip is all about automation, not delegation, but automation. So we really think about becoming more effective as entrepreneurs, because entrepreneurs often have a little bit of some ADD going on. So we're very creative people. We have lots of ideas, and sometimes it's really difficult for us to focus. Sometimes it's actually difficult for us to finish something that we've started. And in this way, we have to find a little grace for ourselves and say that this is just part of being an entrepreneur. It's an entrepreneur characteristic. But what we want to do is we want to actually figure out what it is we can actually automate. Thinking about your funnel, for example, when you're trying to get people on your list, we want to build out a funnel that will actually help you build your client base and ultimately get your message out there to more people. But one of the more important aspects of your business that you should be automating, that would be your payment method, in which case you don't have to hire a team to go out and collect funds. You don't have to spend time doing administrative tasks yourself. Having it automated, on the other hand, really helps you free yourself up so that you can be working on your zone of genius. In tip number 10, it's all about aligned marketing. What does that mean exactly? Well, what we want to do is we don't want to copy our competitors. Instead, we need to create a marketing plan that really is more in alignment with our lifestyle and who it is that we are. We have to be more us, for example. So if you're the type of person that's more of an introvert, for example, that doesn't mean that you can't be confident, a confident introvert, but if you're an introvert, maybe you want to be more of a blogger, somebody who writes more versus somebody who is on video, for example. Maybe you're okay talking to a microphone, but not on video, for example. So this is one of those things where you have to figure out all of the different types of marketing content that you can be providing out there to become more visible, but find out what works best for your personality and what makes you feel more aligned so that you can actually get your message out there and help more people. In tip number 11, I want you to start thinking about the trends. Start looking at what's going on in the marketplace with regard to social media, for example, and the Web 2.0, the interwebs. The reason we're doing this is because we want to stay on top of what's actually working so that we can be more efficient about getting our message out there. So think of doing ads, for example. It's become a lot more inexpensive to do ads on YouTube versus the way it is on Facebook, for example. So now that you know the trends right there, maybe you should be putting ads on YouTube versus ads on Facebook, because it has gotten very, very expensive to put an ad on Facebook. What you want to do is you want to start looking at joint ventures, for example. This is a trend a lot of people are missing, and it's one thing that can really boost your visibility. It'll boost your business and help you to grow. You want to start looking for another business that's very similar to yours, but just like a shoulder niche, for example. Someone who's got the same amount of followers, for example. And in this way, this will help you get your message out there to people who really need to see it. And finally, the number 12th tip is to know your purpose. Now, this is something a lot of people miss. And why do you think it's that important? Well, we need to know why we're doing something. And it kind of goes back to what I was saying before about how our businesses have ebbs and flows, and how sometimes it's a little bit more difficult in our businesses than other times. When you know what your purpose is, when you know why you're doing something, this helps you drive your content. It helps you drive your message. It helps you to become better at delivering your message. It helps you to become more passionate. This is really important if we want to build our business and reach a level of success that we dream about. So I hope you enjoyed my 12 tips to grow your business for 2019. And if you did, give it a thumbs up. And also consider subscribing if you're interested in watching videos about online entrepreneurship, mindset, and intentional living, because I deliver videos on this channel every single week. Well, thanks so much for watching. Until next time, this is Sharon Koenig. I'm out.